A day of absolute chaos in South Africa as the country is torn apart by looting and vandalism. You're going to see videos that you will not believe. Don't miss any of this today. We'll have comments from the president of South Africa. We'll figure out exactly what's going on here. How do you get from free Zuma to this right here in just a handful of days? Watch this footage. This is chopper footage of some of the looting going on in Alexandra in South Africa.
In some parts, there was that's the trail of destruction we're seeing. Speak
Look
to us
at
about
that.
What you're observing.
Thanks. So you Adam Schlangen now?
Look at all of these people.
Now is one of the warehouses in Durban. This is in the Queen Nandi area, and it is mass looting that is taking place below us now.
He said mass looting. I don't think it gets any more mass looting than this. I've never seen anything like it before. They're getting into the delivery trucks. They're getting into this humongous warehouse. There are thousands of them.
These visuals that this has been going on, it's still very well underway, and it's been going on for hours on end now. A little while ago, you would have also been watching the visuals of the traffic buildup that was on that main road leading.
Just unbelievable footage here. And look at some of these just snapshots. I mean, it's a little blurry because of the lower quality of this footage from the chopper, but you can see there's an insane amount of people involved in this. Let me keep rolling because there's so much to get to. Here's a street view of what's going on in Johannesburg and Alexandra again here, but from sort of the city center perspective.
I'm not going to go too close to Melo, and I've heard some of the experts telling us, for instance, to Melo, that this is from people who are basically no longer part of that Free Jacob Zuma campaign, but rather people who are hungry. And as you heard from my colleague Siphamandla Goke, I think we should call it what it really is. It is anarchy. People are stealing. It is criminality that has creeped into this whole campaign.
So she said it right there, the reporter from NCA, and saying that this is, let's call it what it is anarchy. Before we get to more videos, and there's plenty more to see, the death toll climbed to 72 from rioting in South Africa on Tuesday, with many people trampled to death during looting at stores as police and military fired stun grenades and rubber bullets to try to halt the unrest set off by the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma, the Free Zuma campaign, is what sort of led to this, and then it just became all-out mayhem or anarchy. More than 1,200 people have been arrested in the lawlessness that has raged in poor areas of two provinces, where a community radio station was ransacked and forced off air Tuesday, and some centers were closed, disrupting urgently needed inoculations. Many of the deaths occurred in chaotic stampedes as thousands stole food, electric appliances, liquor, clothing, all the rest, and they're looking into this to see exactly what led to it. Here are some snapshots of the actual response, the looting, etc.
I mean, it's absolutely criminality on an extreme scale.
This is a mall. Look at this. Wow, they're picking everything clean. Grabbing the big coolers, the display coolers.
So unnecessary. So uncalled for.
And now they're lighting things on fire, as you can see, like this vehicle.
Beautiful country. And this is the
There you go. You can see that they've lit several cars and many buildings across the area on fire. Here's a guy who said, well, everybody else is looting and getting into all these electronic stores. I'm going to steal a whole bunch of meat. Look at this guy. He went for a different kind of bag. There's so much more, so stay with me here. This is rolling over to some of the response from the South African military that obviously has been rolling in to try to stop this widespread looting. Humvee after Humvee. All these military vehicles here lined up, headed in to quell the chaos, if they can. It's another area with some looting. Now, the big debate in South Africa is going to be about whether or not these folks should be called supporters of Zuma or not. It would be much like in the West or in America, seeing some looting and rioting and saying these are Black Lives Matter supporters, as opposed to these are people who are taking advantage. That's the dichotomy that we're seeing. There are a lot of people from South Africa who follow along with this Facebook page. So fans of the News Junkie from South Africa, your insight greatly appreciated. Here are some people speaking out about all of the chaos happening, all the unrest and the widespread looting in South Africa.
Now we are in a situation where people have to go into stores and, destroy, take everything and put law on their hands. It's not a good thing. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. And as a result, it means there's a lot of people who are going to lose their job.
I think the government now, since they've deployed soldiers and stuff, they should do this thing peacefully. Nobody must be shot or beaten or brutalized. People need to reason and talk with people nicely so we calm the situation down.
He wants the situation calmed down. Many people feeling similar to that. And it was sort of an interesting situation when President Ramaphosa addressed the nation in the wake of all this violence and looting. He was very subdued during this speech.
I address you this evening, South Africans, with a heavy heart. Over the past few days and nights, there have been acts of public violence of a kind rarely seen in the history of our democracy. Property has been vandalized and destroyed. Shops have been looted. Law-abiding citizens have been threatened and intimidated. Workers are scared that they may not be able to return to work.
Yeah, of course. So who wouldn't be looking at some of the damage that's been done here? And the last clip that I'll show you is some in defense of the protesters to show the other side of the coin here. Here is from Right to Know, Lazola Katie, or Kadi is her name, from Johannesburg.
This is not necessarily just a sporadic protest. This is also the community of South Africa actually voicing out their unhappiness. We need to understand the socio-economic situation in South Africa is leaving people jobless, it's leaving people hungry, it's leaving people poor. And this is then the response of the community of South Africa speaking to the government that has not been listening to the people of South Africa.
So what is it? Is it a cry to the government? Is it people who are destitute and in poverty? Or is it folks taking advantage of a power vacuum where they could get away with things like looting, rioting, and lighting cars on fire? Zuma, as for him, the 79-year-old was sentenced last month for defying a constitutional order to give evidence at an inquiry investigating high-level corruption during his 9 years in office, which ended in 2018. He also faces trial in a separate case on charges including corruption, fraud, racketeering, and money laundering. Zuma's foundation said there would be no peace in South Africa until the former president was released from jail, hence the chaos that we're seeing right now. Peace and stability in South Africa is directly linked to the release of President Zuma with immediate effect. This was the threat, and they have lived up to exactly this so far. And now we have 757 people that have been arrested. They have stopped short of declaring a national state of emergency, but that could come very soon. And look at this unbelievable moment. This is a mother. This is in Durban in eastern South Africa, who's on top of a building that was set on fire by looters. Remember this moment. And now she has to try to get that infant of hers out of this building that's on fire. And so she throws her baby down to the crowd below to safety. And then they were reunited afterwards. They got everybody off this roof because the building was in flames. Just absolute and utter chaos, and perhaps few things grab this moment better than a mother in just real desperation right here. What do you think about this? Again, I'm interested in hearing the perspective of those of you in South Africa, but everybody else, is this going to get a whole lot worse? Is this something that could be justified by poverty in these areas, or is it simply a crime of opportunity? So many times we see countries spiral down like this, and once the rule of law has broken down in front of everyone's eyes, there are far too many people willing to take advantage to get a free television or a refrigerator or something to eat at the store. And I'd love to see what you think about that now. Share this video to spread the word about what's going on with the chaos and anarchy in South Africa. And I would appreciate, if you're new here over at Facebook, if you'll take just a moment, please. Go to facebook.com/The News Junkie. Hit the follow button for videos just like this every single day, right to you, whatever's happening in the world that you need to know. On YouTube, you can subscribe at youtube.com/The News Junkie. I appreciate you watching as always, and we'll talk to you again real soon.